Hello, Internet, and thank you very much for tuning into the Cloud Native FM and Cloud Therapist YouTube show. This is another exclusive coverage of another big event that's happening in London, Excel Center. My friend, who is the usual co host of the Cloud Therapist YouTube channel, is now being off from the desk and doing the duties of field reporting, and I'm being directing them to on the podcast today. So today's agenda is all about AWS Summit. We want to know where are some of the things been happening there, what the customer been talking about, and what's been really been in the trending news these days as well. And we have some guests and some of the showcase scroll where my friend will be going through. Without any further delay, let me pass on to my wonderful guest, Richard Simon from Cloud Therapist. Richard,
Hey, hello,
here.
hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to, where am I? Where are we now? Saying
Richard,
AWS Summit,
oh,
AWS Summit London.
oh, absolutely. Where are you currently standing? Is it AWS Village? All I can see there's on the
I
screen.
am, I am. I'm standing at the AWS Village, which is at the heart of one of the halls of the AWS Summit show in London. And we're, currently just kind of looking at the the main entrance area to the village. Now it's I think they've got this year. And just talking in terms of the layout, we said we'll kind of have a little chat about the layout for this year.
Mhm.
I think they've got the layout fairly good for this year. I think the layout last year and the previous years has not been fantastic, but this year I think they've got it right. So the section downstairs, as we'll show you guys later on, the section downstairs is mainly um, the kind of the sports zone, as they're calling it. And then as you come up the stairs, as again we will show you later, as you actually come up the stairs, they've got the partner area, which is where I'm standing, and
Oh,
the AWS Village is actually located here. Now, on the other side of the Excel hall is the AWS area. So that's purely kind of AWS and their solutions, their market sector areas, and the solutions in all the market sectors and things like that. So the village has remained on this side, but the rest of the AWS solutions have moved over to the other hall. And obviously over here we have the all the partner showcase area as well. So I think it's a better organization, not perfect, because I just thought all of AWS's side will be on the other side, but it's not the case. The village is here. I guess they couldn't fit it over there. But point being is that I think overall it's a much better organization for this year.
yes, I think I get to introduce to the AWS Village. Is like remember back in the days when Amir Alamdar is reporting us from the AWS, I think reinvent, I think 2024 or 2025, I'm forgetting the year. And there we see a very big AWS village, a gigantic AWS village, where all of the things happening. And I think that's where we got to introduce to the AWS village. But Richard, as you walk through past some of the showcase area, so I will be better visually see and give some numbers to the marketing team and the event teams at AWS if they did some great things about AWS. But Richard, tell
Yeah.
us, like, how is there any, like, I think you actually, a little bit of joke here because I think you wake up 6 a.m. in the morning
No, no,
for
no.
this.
Much earlier than that.
Oh,
That's when I caught my taxi and train. So I had a taxi to the train station, but I got up an hour earlier than that. So I've been up since 5 a.m. this morning.
oh,
Um,
wow.
the Yeah. So there's a tube strike on at the moment in London. So most of this week, so all the main London Underground, as it's called, or Tube, as we like to call it locally, are all on strike at the moment. So getting around London is quite hard, both for commuters who obviously work in London and for everybody else at the show. So I have no idea how many people have actually made it to the show. Clearly, the numbers look a lot less than last year. I think during the breaks of last year, I couldn't really move anywhere. It was so packed. and certainly around lunchtime when everybody went to grab a sandwich or something, it was very hard to do. So clearly less numbers this year, which actually makes it a little bit easier for people to move around. But yeah, it's certainly caused a problem. Now, this strike has not coincided with AWS Summit London for the last couple of years, which is why we've not felt the impact of it. However, that was the case. I think 2 or 3 years ago or something like that. So again, there was the same kind of chaos and everything sort of shut down as far as the trains were concerned and things like that. Some lines are still operating, which is why I actually made it over to the Excel area. So some of the lines are operating, and not all of them. But those are the so-called overground lines. So the lines that don't actually go underground in the capital, and hence why I'm here. So yeah, that's kind of been it. But we also had some highlights from the keynote. So this time, not only did I actually make it to the keynote, saying, but there was actually a seat for me to sit down, which was really great. So I'm very appreciative of that. That I actually managed to find a seat and actually got into the keynotes this year. So just that quick highlights on that. There was a lot of stuff that's kind of been going on around that. The kind of usual videos.
Before you go there, you deserve a round of
Thank you. Yes, I probably deserve something, but yeah. Anyway, so we had kind of the usual intros. I think a lot of this kind of a throwback from the reInvent sort of event from last year. So there wasn't really a huge amount there that was kind of necessarily new or things that we've kind of not really necessarily kind of seen prior to this event. But there were some themes which were quite interesting. So it talked about the why not sort of theme, which I think they carried again from reInvent last year. So that was kind of all from 2025. There were some customer success stories as well. So they mentioned Every, which is a delivery service, and kind of how they're doing really all of their stuff on obviously the AWS cloud. Kiro, which is kind of AWS's sort of AI coding agent, how that's actually sort of helping customers. They repeated the video from again reInvent last year, so nothing new in terms of what that's doing. But there were some interesting examples of that and how Kiro is actually being used. Amazon Quick, which is like an agentic app, and this particular app will allow you to basically kind of look at your sort of business data, maybe similar to I guess what Microsoft Copilot is sort of doing. So that's kind of the other thing that they talked about. And then AWS Transform and Customize, which is a kind of a modernization at the speed of AI, as they called it. This is really for modernizing applications. So looking at your sort of legacy VMware, mainframe, Windows-based .NET applications and how those can be actually transformed as well. So that was also mentioned. There were talks about that achieving around or saving 1.35 billion hours saved in code migration. So rather than doing it manually, actually doing it with the AWS Transform and Customize or Custom, and that's kind of the main tool that they use. So Transform is the kind of the generic tool, but there's like a custom version which enterprises can also adopt. So Transform Custom, and that allows them to then look at their specific code rather than them just going to AWS Transform and using it as a generic tool. So they can essentially embed it within their sort of code repositories and so on as well. So that was kind of part of it. And then they rolled out the customer ADP. So that was a customer success story about modernization. Again, millions of lines of code that needed to be changed, libraries and services and things like that. So ADP was part of that. And then a new customer, as far as I know anyway, called Motorway, which is an online second-hand car dealership based in the UK. Their market is around $100 billion. They have around 7,500 countrywide dealers where you can go and get a second-hand car from them. And they've actually been using Kiro as well in their sort of engineering activity. So the engineering patterns and team topology has been the main things that they've been doing. So kind of setting up, writing code, much quicker, and so on. Now, the only irony that I saw here was the fact that in 2022, when I attended AWS Summit London, they had another car dealer company that was also part of AWS called Kazoo. Now, as far as I know, Kazoo's fortunes have not been as great since that year. However, we'll see what happens to motorway in a few years' time. Okay, but yeah, these two guys are kind of Kazoo from a few years ago, and now motorway being kind of flagship users of all of the sort of stuff that happens on in AWS, including things like Kiro and some of the other tools that AWS provides. Now, they talked about frontier agents as well, and in terms of frontier agents, they were discussing scalability as well as long-term running agents as well. So actually agents that kind of operate for a long time, hours, days, in terms of actually doing something for you. So Kiro Autonomous Agent is an example of that. And this helps to accelerate software development life cycles. It engages again with your, with your sort of DevOps pipeline. It actually helps you to do that. And also they mentioned security agent, which again kind of looks at your code from a security perspective. AWS DevOps agent, which is again integrating into your pipeline as well as third parties, so including the likes of Dynatrace and so on, which helps you to identify bugs and alert you, and also send you alerts in terms of for your development code and things like that as well. So all of these, sort of the Kiro Autonomous Agent, the AWS Security Agent, and the AWS DevOps Agent are kind of all in that frontier agents sort of space. And these can all be integrated into customers' environments to kind of help them with development and everything else. Now, there was some examples. I think they had some other code sort of utilization companies. Some of the other kind of companies have been using AWS sort of code and the migration tooling, the modernization tooling rather, the agent tooling, so things like Kira and whatever. I found those to be a little bit boring, to be honest. It was kind of the usual cliche around sort of toxic waste and developing applications that help you locate waste and stuff like that. This is so last decade type of stuff, so I found that a little bit tedious, to be honest. Then the keynote really moved to kind of talking about infrastructure, data, and inference. To be honest, there wasn't really a huge amount of focus on AI and kind of the inference and how you kind of run that. I think there was one demo of that was shown, or one discussion around that, but it wasn't really a huge amount of that. It was more about how can we solve your data fragmentation, so your warehouses, your lake house, and things like that, and how can actually AWS help you with that and actually get kind of their tooling into into your data sets, and see kind of how the AI agents and so on can actually help you to make better use of the data that you have. So they rolled out things like S3 for that, and they said, yeah, of course S3 is the answer. S3 is the answer to everything. So they talked about things like objects, tables, the metadata, and now vector data as well, all kind of being part of really what S3 can handle. And then beyond that, we also had things like, they had another example customer, so Octopus Energy, which is an energy utility company in the UK, was also wheeled out as well. So actually their CIO or something was on the stage, and he talked about data processing, sort of agility to respond to markets, providing power, being able to respond to market changes. So both customers and how they can serve customers, both business and consumer customers, and how they can respond to them, as well as Octopus Energy's actual business responding to changes in the in the energy market as well. So things like using and supporting things like electric car charging stations and stuff like that. So that's kind of part of their part of the business at Octopus Energy. Yeah, so that's kind of, I guess, the the summary for the for the keynote. I think, like I said, a lot of this stuff tends to come over from AWS reInvent. So there was a lot of that kind of videos and things like that being used, but there was also some relatively new and maybe kind of more localized sort of customer success stories as well. Saima, you're on mute.
Thank you, Richard, for sharing all these details. It's super reflective. I think the theme I actually collect, but we were talking about it and reading some of the article on the such some of the news
Yeah,
comes up. One of the problematic for me is currently because there's nothing much on the internet that can able to tell me like what's happened inside the AWS Summit. Usually, when we cover some of the live streams,
yeah,
the things happening on the time, and we can read through the internet. And I'm a little bit more jealous with you this time around because in AWS Summit London, what's happening? The only one you can give me the information. Even the
yeah.
chat GPT and all the agent, they didn't give me any information on that. So
Right.
that's
No,
that's
they're not. They're not that quick. They're not as quick as humans. Yeah.
absolutely.
When they start walking around, say when they're actually roaming around, so you got ChatGPT robots walking around the AWS Summit in London, then they're going to be up to date, and they might even get better than me in terms of reporting. Hey, look, I may not have to actually come in next time. We'll just hire a robot, get him to go, get it to go around the AWS Summit in London. I can put my feet up. Don't have to worry about train strikes and getting up at 5 a.m. in the morning
Oh
and
my.
shaving and things like that. We can just get the ChatGPT AI robot to do it for us. There you go.
Oh yes, absolutely. But today you are beating the some of the information, all of the agents right now because you are the
Yes.
only one who can give us what's happening currently in the AWS Summit as well. And for covering the AWS Summit, AWS any event is very important. The AWS has a huge customer base around the
Yeah.
globe, and they put all the services to our disposal all the time. Like if you have watched some of the, if I think we need to check
Yeah.
out like how much of the services has been rolled out from 2025 to 2026 until now, and we are the one. That's the beauty of the both of these YouTube channels to tell you what's been cooking up, so you can able to make some decision on where you put your eyes and how to actually look forward to looking at these events as well. But Richard, in terms of what the theme I'm actually trying to collect, we know we've both been talking a lot about data center on these YouTube channels, our both. I think we talk about data centers on cloud state of play as well. Is there any like technical topic, or is there anything related to data center has been you heard from the conference? Because the energy consumption of the AI is a
Yeah.
big topic, and we've
Yeah.
seen the data center is hype, is getting very popular these days. Is there anything you have seen something come out from that angle?
Not at the moment. I mean, I've seen some stuff that's basically around how you do kind of things like FinOps and things like that, but not something as detailed. It's interesting that you actually say that. I've been reviewing a book recently. I won't name the names and the title of the book, but somebody asked me to do a review of a book which is around the area of efficient AI. How can we make AI models more efficient? And how can we? How does each query, once you kind of use techniques like quantization and so on, how does that affect each query? And the book goes down to things like microjoules and that kind of measurement in terms of how much energy is being used both by the CPU and the GPU to fulfill those queries. So very interesting stuff, and I suspect that might be kind of coming down the line. I have really no idea what does AWS do. And we might get a chance to talk to somebody in the perhaps in the village later, or on the other side if we kind of manage to cross over to the other side without losing the signal. We'll maybe have a word with somebody there. Maybe spot somebody who can kind of go into a little bit more detail of that. But it's not really kind of the sort of thing that's essentially discussed here. There is things like I said, FinOps, and there's observability tools. There's some players that are kind of in that space. I can see Anthropic just on the other side right now with a very busy stand. So it might be something that we can perhaps ask them if they're willing to do an interview when we do the showcase call later.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I think I would definitely want you to go to the AWS if they allow us to
Yeah,
the AWS startup zone. If they allow us, we can see what the talks been happening from the picture I've seen on the internet. I
yeah.
think they what is actually been the basically the booth standing? Is it something similar to the KubeCon, or is it's a different altogether?
Well, like I said, they put everybody together. Last year, they had some folks down in the level 0 area downstairs. So as you go down the stairs, that's all been converted into this game zone or whatever they're calling it, or sports zone. So all the stuff that I showed you about F1 and some of the arcade slash sort of F1 activities and so on, all the games and things are all now downstairs, which is actually good. So that means all the sports stuff is out of the way. And you're not kind of having a mixture of sports sort of activities as well as exhibitors, the folks in the showcase area. So all the showcase area folks are where I am. They're just kind of on the other side of the camera. But essentially, that's kind of that's what they've done. That's the major change they've made this year. So all the exhibitors, all the partners and sponsors are actually in one area. And then AWS has kind of almost pretty much taken over the other side, the other hall, to themselves, and they're using that for their own sort of demonstrations and things like that. Same, just to let you know that Cheryl Hung is available, so I'm going to try and pull her in a minute so we can actually have a quick conversation and do a review of the show. Was there anything else, or do you want me to move on?
Oh, we have some of our usual friends on our chat. Thank you.
Hey, welcome, guys. Thanks for joining us.
It's always love to see people jumping in, and we'll look forward to answering your queries. If you have any, please put them on the chat as well. I think Noah Santoni is one of our friends is also on the chat.
That was actually roaming around here. I just saw him earlier. He was walking around, but I was too busy talking in the microphone. So yeah, but he is around.
Oh, awesome! Absolutely. So Richard, while we actually go to some things, I look at I'm trying to share some of the agenda we have on the AWS startup zone. I think there are some very interesting talks in there as well. One thing I'm actually trying to understand: Amazon Bedrock Agent Core. This is interesting.
Yes.
The new functionality is try to bring it, but from the agenda I'm trying to looking at it, it's more around the IDE nature of the software development methodology, software development. I know there's some talks on some other topic there, but looking at the startup agenda, particularly the focus on deploying the agents in a production environment, like a lot of people are talking about it. One other thing that I heard in the discussion, and that's a new topic. Obviously, what does this actually mean? Metaflow on AWS.
Right. Yeah.
And I think AWS in particular, but I think they try to add the newest AI capabilities in AWS in a way that can be integrated and actually used together rather than they be sitting somewhere else. I've seen Hero has been a central core, some other AI agents been happening. So I can see Amazon Bedrock, Amazon Q, Hero, and bunch of other services joined together to solve a missing problem for the enterprise. Because right now the problem with the enterprise is that there's a VS Code for you, there's a GitHub Copilot for you, the code agent, Claude Code is for you, and then the bunch of open source tools available in the market. but running them together, it's a task that nobody to wanted to solve these days. But
That's true.
luckily,
That's true.
I think AWS is trying to mix those things together.
I think they're going to get better. I've even seen the same sort of transformation stuff from Microsoft as well. Somebody summed it up really well earlier. I can't remember who I was talking to. Somebody said all of the stuff that we're using at the moment is not going to be around in 5 years' time. It's all going to be different services. It's all going to be consolidated. A lot of it is going to be be AI agent based. So same. Let me bring in Cheryl because Cheryl's kind of on a tight schedule. But I wanted to kind of, she's been actually around the show today. So I kind of wanted just to get her in and get her sort of idea of the, what her view has been on the show as well. So if we can have in Cheryl.
Oh, 100%.
Here she is. Can you see her?
Hello, hello, hello. Nice to see you again as well.
Great to see you again. How are you doing?
Yeah, really good, really good. Just glad to kind of be here and get the app.
Soaking it all up, right?
Soaking it all up, exactly.
Fantastic. So what's kind of what's sort of first impressions? What have you noticed has been different?
Well, I mean, my first thought, I kind of expected it to be a ghost town, right? Because of the tube strikes.
Sorry, because of the strike, right?
Because of the tube strikes. But actually, it's kind of pleasantly busy, I would say. Still a lot of people here, still a lot of good conversations. The setup is very similar to previous AWS summits, if you've been here before. So yeah, nice, but nothing out of the ordinary in terms of setup.
Sure. So I think the only thing I was saying to Saeem, the only thing I've noticed difference is that the sports zone is now all downstairs all by itself. And some of the smaller vendors have all been moved up here. So this is the main showcase for all of the partners, sponsors, vendors that have been are exhibiting. And then on the other side seems to be purely AWS. So it's kind of their sector, market sector stuff and demos and things like that.
I appreciate that separation, It's,
I think that's a lot cleaner as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's easier to navigate.
Brilliant. So have you had a chance to sit in on any talks?
I have actually,
right.
A little bit. I like to go to the talks which are customer or end user type talks, and slightly less marketing-y, slightly more real use cases. So I just came out of one from Audi, the German car maker, and explaining how they're using AI, and very, very interesting proposition.
Excellent. And are they kind of using any specific AWS services or sort of platform stuff?
I mean, tons of them.
Tons of it, right.
I mean, they've been working together for, they said, 11 years.
Oh, right.
So, they're very deeply integrated. But I think the interesting thing about it was, as a producer of physical products, they were talking about the production lines where they actually produce the Audi cars.
Right.
The whole AI play for them was about quality, product quality, being able to detect issues with spot welding, and then do the inference in real time, on the edge, so it's near the robot, and then give that back to a human to fix the issues there and then.
Fabulous.
So very different from a lot of the AI use cases where it's been all about trying to produce new things or something that wasn't the case.
So is that edge AI then? What is that?
Yeah, I would say so. I would it's an actual edge AI use case, one that makes sense.
Yeah,
right?
and one that actually makes sense. Actually doing something useful.
Well, that was the other thing I thought was interesting, because they made a big fuss out of it costs this, production inefficiencies cause this much loss in revenue.
Right.
But in this particular case, the issues they were talking about with spot welding would be it would cause potential corrosion with the paint. So it's something that happens maybe a couple of years down the line, where you actually see the quality issues come out. So I mean, the actual productivity is better because you can spot these issues faster in a more targeted way. But in terms of business impact, that still seems a couple of years separated from these cars are having these issues, and then that's brought back to Audi's attention.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, I suspect quality issues like that, the recall on that is obviously more costly than kind of upgrading and using things like AI and the latest technology.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I expect that would work.
It does make sense. It's just I initially expected it to be something like the kind of the cloud native paradigm where you your metric is sort of recovery time from issues, right? Because when something goes down, it costs you this many dollars per hour, and then fixing it means that you don't have those. You can very easily measure how much your revenue impact is.
Sure.
So that was my expectation of the story going in, but actually it was like because there's a few years of separation between quality issues or production issues, and this causing lost revenue, I think it's harder to quantify.
Excellent. Okay. And any other ones that you sat in for? Anything else interesting? Anything that was on the agenda that you spotted and you couldn't make it to, or something?
I kind of sat in as ones as I went along, but I think the underlying theme across all of them was that data quality is the foundation behind AI. So a lot of the talks were about, here's how we produce a data mesh, here's how we decouple producers from consumers, here's how we ingest data that was not designed for AI and clean it up and put it in the format so that a model can be trained on it.
Okay, so are we finally turning to our data sets and actually try to do something with them?
Oh, it would be lovely to think so, wouldn't it? I would say...
Might be a bit wishful thinking on my part, but there you go.
I would say the other thing that I noticed here is that all the stories are about scale, because this is not something that really... like the cost of all of this work and the cost of the AI models is so immense. It only makes sense if you are producing an enormous amount of products or service, whatever you're selling from it, right? So if you're producing, one car a year, this doesn't make any sense. If you produce whatever 150,000 cars, I can't remember the exact number, a year, then each of these things start to add up.
Right. Excellent. Okay, so I mean, I was just going through the same in terms of the keynote. I don't know if you had the chance to.
I missed the keynote, so tell me what happened.
I'll give you a summary of it. I mean, some of it was kind of a repeat from the reInvent from last year. So same videos, same customers were sort of customer videos were wheeled out and so on. It was a little bit more about Kiro. This time, obviously, that's kind of their AI coding agent. So it's a little bit more focus on Kiro. They had a couple of UK customers that they talked about. So there was more one called Motorway, which is kind of a kazoo type of hobby. Again, never heard of it either. I remember Kazoo and I saying the same from about 3 years ago, and I don't know where they are now. But anyway, there's another sort of second-hand car online type of thing. Everything running in serverless and using Lambda, blah blah blah, all the usual kind of stuff, really. So there was that as well. There was a little bit more focus on data, so you're quite right in terms of they were saying obviously the answer is always S3.
Oh well.
So whatever it is you want to do,
it's
S3 is the answer. But they kind of talked about the diversity of the data. So your kind of metadata, your usual sort of object. Now you've got vector sort of data and things like that as well. So again, all of that obviously being nicely looked after in S3 as well. So there was that as well. I think Werner Vogels is supposed to be doing his keynote in about 5 minutes, so I'm not going to be attending that one. And if it's anything like the reInvent one, I don't think I'm missing much there, to be honest with you. But the other things that were there were around sort of AI agents and how AI agents can help you with modernizing your code. So that was one area that they talked about. How they can secure your code, so check your code for bugs and all the usual kind of stuff around that, and also how they can help you organize your sort of DevOps approach. So everything from kind of the team topology down to your pipeline, efficiencies in your pipeline, and things like that. There wasn't actually anything on automation. I saw nothing. There was nothing on there that actually talked about kind of CloudFormation or other tooling or AI agents can help you, build it for you and stuff like that. I didn't see anything on that. But the agent side of it was a lot more around coding this time. So whether it's modernizing your old code, they talked about, mainframe, VMware, Windows, maybe .NET type of coding, they're all being changed and modernized. And then, like I said, the rest of it was kind of, agents running around doing some of the hard work for you in that sort of DevOps space. So
that's very interesting. I did wonder, I was about to ask you, it sounds like it's mainly coding agents that they're focused on for this show.
Yeah, I think so. I think they kind of looked at that mainly as being the area where, it can help. And I guess it's because, lots of Anthropic on the other side. You folks can't see this, but just on the other side is Anthropic. So we will show you that a bit later. But obviously, it's thanks to the likes of Anthropic, kind of quad code and whatever, has kind of put it on the map, I guess. And that was kind of maybe rubbed off on AWS as well.
I mean, I'm not surprised. Tech companies do as tech companies do, and
yeah, and
it makes sense.
And I mean, I'm okay with that kind of the that sort of demonstration and the show aspect of it, the marketing, the media, and stuff like that. But I really kind of see the summit as more, for the customers coming in to talk to AWS, to actually interface with the AWS and to talk to them at the village on the other side, where the demos are running and things like that. To actually see maybe the next bit of AWS that particular customer wants to use and they're not using at the moment, but they're interested in using it. And what would that look like? What can I use it for? Show me a demo, show me how it works, demonstrate it in my kind of area of interest. So again, that's kind of what I see the summit really being about.
Yeah, it's a much smaller, so we happen to be in the partner, I guess they call it the partner theater, which is other companies who've sponsored booths.
All the sponsors and so on.
And it's certainly a lot smaller than other conferences of a similar size. They're less about the ecosystem, more about AWS products and how to use them, which makes sense.
Yes, indeed. And then the other thing, which I did remind Saim about last year, is the fact that you will see partners, as we'll do the showcase call later on, you'll actually see some of the stands here in the showcase area that are from like SaaS companies. So you've got Workday here, you've got Notion here, and people like that. Now, the reason why they're here is because their platform runs on AWS, and hence why they're here as a sponsoring partner, as a supporting partner. But that kind of company you probably wouldn't see in KubeCon, for example, or Container Days, or KCD, or any of the other kind of
Right, I was curious about that. When I came in, I was like, are Workday selling to, I don't know, like who are they selling to here?
Yeah, they're not just kind of filling in this space, or they haven't done enough shows for this year, and they thought, oh, look, AWS Summit is going on, so let's go there. It's not that. I think it's more around because they run their platform essentially on AWS, and hence why they're kind of supporting partner, sponsoring partner, whatever fee for that.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I think it's been interesting. I'm going to be carrying on with the showcase call. We're going to have a little bit more of a conversation. I have been invited to one of the after parties, so I'm going to see if I can actually carry on the live stream into the after party, because the guy there, Mike, has actually promised me from Scale Factory. So shout out to Mike Mead from Scale Factory. He's actually promised me to do an interview as well.
Nice.
So if I can catch him and if we can hear each other at the bar, we'll see. Maybe we can have a conversation. Maybe we'll step outside or something. But yeah, that's kind of the plan. But Cheryl, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming over and doing the review with me.
Always wonderful.
And I will catch you next time. All right. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Right. So that was Cheryl Hung, everybody. She is the lady who runs the Cloud Native meetup in London. So if you are in London, check it out. It's every first Wednesday of every month. So just go to oycheryl.io, I think, or .com. Same will find it and put it on the screen for you. But check out Cheryl if you are in London. Oh, she does record all her stuff as well, so you can actually see it on there. She usually does 2 or 3 talks at every meetup. The meetup has I don't know, thousands of members. is usually very well attended, and lots of different stuff. And the stuff is, a mixture of vendors, but also you get the customers as well on there as well. So just normal enterprises who are kind of using cloud native stuff, and they come and they demonstrate and they talk about how they're using some of the CNCF projects as well.
Yes,
So that's Cheryl.
Cheryl is one of the great person in the community because he spent time with the CNCF. She was with the armed, I think, back in the days. Also spent
She
time
did.
with the and he has he's put on a lot of the different experiences into our podcast as well. So she's a very good community member. It's nice, always nice to have her on our YouTube shows to talk about some stuff there as well. So Richard, I would definitely want you to little. I hope that if the internet works for us today,
we're gonna find out.
Oh yes, that's the point. If the internet works, I definitely want to. If we can.
I'm just switching you over so you can see the other side.
Oh yes, absolutely. Richard. Remind people that this is the same place where the KubeCon London held.
That's true. This is the same exhibition center, so the Excel, London Excel. Excel is based in the Canary Wharf area, which is the east side of London. And this is where they hold a lot of the really big shows. There's actually multiple halls here, so I don't think you can ever fill them up. CNCF's KubeCon can't fill them up. AWS Summit can't fill them up. There's actually a retail show just down the hall happening as we speak as well, and there's I think one more as well happening in another hall. So plenty of halls for lots of exhibitions, and it's where KubeCon London was held as well here last year. I've just sent a message to Noah. Let me just see if he's actually around and if he's available to come back and maybe have a quick chat with him as well. But we can carry on discussing it now. We'll switch to the portable view in a moment, so it can actually be able to move around. Same. Why don't you look at some of the other announcements or the some of the other breakouts? I think that you were talking about as well.
Yes, 100%. And I think as you were speaking with the Cheryl, and he said the same thing that I'm thinking about. It's all about agent. It's all about some AWS Summit. It's been basically, and I think I can understand this. This stuff is important because I know a lot of the DevOps tooling and a lot of the developers is bombarded with a lot of the tooling. And now, if AI and the agent being able to help them adopt those tooling, being able to actually adopt. That would be a great start. And I think we're now in the beginning of this is the 4 month of 2026, April 22nd, as we are recording this. And I've been went through these a lot of the different hypes, being in the cloud native community foundation, in the platform engineering waves. So there's a lot being hype, and the agent hype is started very sharply, and it's becoming a pause very rapidly. It's one of those hype when you started with so much, this agent can do this, agent can do that, and then there's a little bit of a pause in here, because the pause is that recently I think a lot of the worry is that I think that yesterday the Vercel has, or 2 days back, the Vercel has some sort of vulnerability scraping into it, or some hackers attack with the Vercel infrastructure in itself. So much of the agent has been in the news, and I think now the agent is now in another news. Like, yes, we know the power of the running the agent in a mainstream production setup, but what are my ways to secure my infrastructure so I can run the agent in a securer way, rather than not giving them so much of the privileges set up? And I think I'm looking at, I think, Richard, I feel like you have to remind me of that. It's like reInvent is the last event of the year. Like we cover all of the events on our YouTube live streams. We cover KubeCon, we cover SuCon, we cover all of the live streams, and reInvent happened at the very end of the year, like November,
Yeah.
December time, up to the reInvent, and I believe the Summit, AWS Summit London, we have a 4 months of difference, but I feel like 2 to 3 or the 4 months of the difference. So this is I think this is a progressive event, what been showed in the reInvent, and that's the event where we can tell people now the customer has started adopting those tools. It's not that they've been experimenting. It's not to do on their in progress, but they now started experimenting with all of these tools. Because I look at it, the agenda of the Summit London, I see that there's a DevOps agent has been talking about. Some companies has been talking about how they have been leveraging
That's right.
in the real setup. So this means the last announcement from this announcement has been a more of the consumer centric one. How much they have been actually try to adopt to those technologies that have been coined out in the reInvent as well. And I think the summit is happening in some other cities as well. I'm looking at the agenda, and they said in May, 1 month from now, that's in 15 and 16, it's happening in Sydney. So it's been one of those conference that is has a circular loop involved in it. It started on cities to cities base, and there were AWS people trying to tell the rest of the community, here are some of the things we actually added in our backyard. Customers have started adopting it, and they tell the world what of the showcases are. So that's all
Yeah,
about.
absolutely, absolutely. Okay, I have Noah here with me. Now it's Santoni. So we're going to just do a. Let me swap the
Can you
camera
swap
again.
the camera? Yes.
Yeah, we're just swapping over. Noah, I don't know if you can get in there. There you go.
Hey!
Noah's here.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Noah. Quick intro to you, Noah, and then we'll talk a little bit about the show.
Sure. So I'm head of growth at Ground Control. We focus on rapid development, and also we focus on migration projects with Next.js and some other great stuff.
Fantastic. So you and I met at the AWS Summit last year, right? I think that was one of the first places we met. We had a really good conversation around AI and agents and stuff like that. So that was really interesting. Have you had the chance to look at any of the breakouts and sort of presentations? What's kind of been your impressions?
I think the biggest thing for me is the change compared to last year. I mean, last year there was many different vendors and providers, and there was maybe a little bit of AI of like posting and stuff. But I think this year it's come full force. I feel like Anthropic Claude stand last year really grabbed my attention with the whole the model playing Pokemon. Whereas this year it seems more like AWS has focused a lot about it, particularly their agentic framework that they're trying to push. I mean, we're standing right now beside Kiro, I think it's called. Kiro, yeah, their alternative to Claude Code. So no, it's really exciting. I also have noticed that they have a sports zone, which is an interesting.
That's correct. Yes.
Don't remember seeing that last year.
It was there.
Oh well.
Believe me, I covered this. It was there.
But that got my attention a lot more. And yeah, so I mean, I think overall it seems like everybody's sprinkling AI into stuff now. So
yeah, it's certainly a lot more prevalent, right? It's a lot more spread out.
We could almost say it's gone mainstream.
Yeah, you could say that. You could say that. Yeah. So what's kind of some of the things that you've actually been noticing? You said the Kiro thing, of course, and kind of some of the demos at the village, the AWS village. We were talking about the sports kind of zone being downstairs now. That's been kind of sort of its own space, and also all of the sponsors, partners, and everything are all up here in this showcase area. And then the other side of the hall is purely AWS. It's kind of their solutions for market sectors and things like that. Anything that's kind of caught your eye? Any of the talks or any of the technologies? You mentioned the agents, but what else is kind of kicking around?
Robots, right?
So, did you see them?
Device. Yeah, I saw the robots.
We're going to go to those later. I have to check them out.
I saw the mini one. I don't know what they're called, with a little face. There was obviously security with it, so it's obviously a high value.
And one of them was shaking hands.
I didn't see the hand shaking. I also saw the arm one as well, like with the arm, and then I think they had a whiteboard to show you like how it can move around. So I think AI and on device, that's quite an interesting piece. I mean, that's probably way more in the future, and I think that is something that could be a bit expanded further. I think personally the code base and the software behind it still probably needs to advance at the rate of everything we've seen, particularly at coding agents, right?
Yeah, excellent. Okay, so robots combination with AI and seeing that kind of how that really advances.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's a number of companies that are focusing purely on that. But I think the combination of that type of stuff with a sort of a ChatGPT or an Anthropic type of brain, I think is what's really required.
Yep.
I guess next, and I don't see a problem with sort of partnerships and stuff like that happening.
Yeah.
But it will, I guess, depend on commercial things like that.
Yeah, definitely. What I did see, which I caught up briefly, was an automation consultancy, which is now an AWS partner. It's the first I've seen around here. I spoke to the owner there who was at the stand. He's been running this for, I think he said 22 years, which is impressive to me, as I thought this automation consultancy firm business model is a fairly new thing. So that just opened my eyes a bit more if that's something that's been around for a while. Also, I think there's always going to be cybersecurity, like they're here as well. But also, I did notice that Vercel have a stand, which I thought was an interesting one. Vercel?
Oh,
I didn't see them last year, and I haven't seen NVIDIA to this session.
no, I saw somebody with an NVIDIA cap. I don't know if it was from NVIDIA's stand or something else. And they did mention them in the keynote. Kind of, they go back a long way, obviously, with NVIDIA as well. The main areas I think that I've seen so far, obviously, yes, AI agents, the coding side. So Kira, as we said, but also how the AI agents can actually integrate into what you're doing at the moment. So your kind of DevOps pipeline, your security, how you make use of it for your data. So that was mentioned quite a lot in the keynote as well.
Yep.
Is that something that you're seeing from your customers? Are they kind of asking for, how can we bring an AI sort of, whether it's an agent or not, doesn't matter. It's just how can we use AI to kind of, mine our data so we can interrogate our data, whether they're sitting in a database or sitting in a warehouse or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's definitely something. I mean, we were working today on a proposal, and part of the proposal was we need to make sure the client obviously has at least 2 years worth of records of data. And to us, I think that's something that we're, internally looking at even further and interrogating further. The fact that, the data has to be clean and prepared before we even start working on development perspective.
Yeah, so I mean, I think again that was mentioned in the keynote. So I think, and I was saying this to Cheryl as well just a few minutes ago, that I think we're kind of maybe turning the corner on data, on actually looking at how we can make use of our data, how we can cleanse the data, prepare it for AI, or introduce AI to it so we can kind of use it and mine it and do analysis on it and stuff like that as well. So that's going to be an interesting area. Now, I don't know what's happening. I did have a look around the showcase area. So there's the usual suspects, I think, around here. So I will be checking out a few of them and hopefully trying to get an interview from them, in the showcase call as we always do. But yeah, thank you very much for your time, Noah. It's been fantastic. I will see you later. Soon. Yeah. We'll talk a bit later on.
At the same place we met.
Yes, we will do. Take care. All right. So that was Noah Santoni from Ground Control. Appreciate his time. Just kind of giving us his view on everything. Yeah, I mean, I think we're noticing, everybody seems to be kind of noticing quite similar themes. Same. So we've got things like data, AI agents, of course. And coding and stuff like that, and it's coming in. Noah interestingly spotted the only stand that's actually got some robots running. So I will try and find that later on and get us there as well. So that should be quite interesting to see, and we'll see if we can shake the hand of the robot. But we'll never know. So we might be able to do that. I did see somebody being brave enough to actually put their hand in the robot's hand. I'm not sure I'm brave enough to do that, but we'll see if we can do that.
Or we can ask them which services you are running in.
Yeah, exactly. Just excuse me for a moment. My throat is very dry, so I'm just going to have a quick sip of water because, as you can imagine, walking around here, it's quite tiring. My sports watch has already gone off and said, "Hey, you've met your target for of the number of steps this this Wednesday, so that's good. So I'm happy. Well, at least my sports watch is happy with me anyway.
Oh, yes.
All right. So, was there anything else that you wanted to mention, Saeem, in terms of the agenda? Did you spot anything that was of
Yes, absolutely.
interest to you specifically?
I look at the vendor lineup at the show, and I was been inspired by some of the vendors showcasing in the AWS. There are GitLab, Datadog, Anthropic, NVIDIA, Vercel, Wiz, Palo Alto Networks, Snowflake, Dynatrace, Postman, ServiceNow, Splunk. These are the vendors. And if I were there in Spencer, this area, I will ask what happened to Vercel 2 days back, because there are some bad news there. They got hacked or some of that thing. But there's some good sponsor there, Richard. Kendall is there, Mimcast,
Yeah.
few previous
Yes, there
customer.
is a number of them. You're right. Yes.
Yes, AMD is there. Fast AI, we have done some podcasts with them in the back. The Fast AI is there, Richard. ChainGuard,
They are indeed. ChainGuard is there, so we're going to try and see if we can get some interviews and chats with them. I have my friend from NetApp, so he might be actually available for a quick conversation, get a quick update from NetApp, what they're actually up to at the moment.
Okay,
We'll see.
and there's other like Harness is also there. Richard, can you check Ravi is there.
Yeah, I doubt if Ravi is going to be there, but I will certainly see if we can get an update from them as well.
Grafana Lab, Nutanix is there, Richard. NetApp is also being part of the showcase area, and a bunch of new companies. Circle CI, Commit, Cockroach Lab. Richard, every time AWS event is held, we have a huge scrolling list of vendor participating in this event.
We usually do. You're right. Absolutely right. So as you can see, I'm now mobile, so I've just backed up my stuff. First stand I thought I'll show you is the Anthropic stand with Claude right smack in the middle. So there's Anthropic.
Richard, can you check anybody if and when?
Yeah, so we'll see if we can have a conversation with somebody, just do a quick update on Anthropic. They all seem to be a little bit busy right now, but we'll see if we can catch somebody later on and have a conversation with them. Let's move around a little bit to kind of show you guys what's happening at the event here. So we'll start from this. So I'm actually right smack in the middle of the showcase area. So I'm just giving a 360 view of everything. And then I'm going to walk down this side. This takes us to, so there's Vercel, as Noah had noticed. Some of the smaller stands here. So these are the smaller vendors in this space. You've got Splunk, CrowdStrike ahead.
I think these are the smaller ones.
Somebody pointing. I might be back. Thank you. Somebody pointing, saying, "Come over and do an interview with us." So I might do that.
CrowdStrike is also it.
CrowdStrike is here. Somebody carrying the correct enterprise. That is the right one. Enterprise D for Delta. That's the right model. He's got the right idea. Okay, so let me show you the sports area here before we actually go down.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's the sports zone. This is going down the stairs, as you can see. If you go down the stairs, you can actually get to this section.
Where is my Formula One? Okay, I spotted. Okay.
So all your F1 stuff is here, same.
Oh my
I'm going to fulfill your dreams. I'm going to walk down. You can actually see what's happening here.
That's good, Richard.
They're doing everything from changing tires to doing esports, to something sponsored by AMD, which takes photos of you.
Oh, this is cool.
Like this one here.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, that looks quite cool. And cool tech.
Can you try out as well?
Yeah, with my kit with me, I'm not sure I can do that.
Oh,
Right, let's get to the esports. So you can see the esports.
This is a new. This happened last year. Oh, this is a new thing.
It wasn't to this size. It wasn't to this size, I believe.
Okay.
So it's actually got a lot bigger. Like I said, they've taken over this entire area downstairs. So this is where all the esports are happening. So this is actually a sports race. As you can see, they've got multiple cars here. And these guys are all competing in an E race. There's a queue of people ready to go, so they're going to all jump on. Over here, there's two teams that are competing on changing tires.
Oh,
so they're actually, yeah, I'm going a little bit closer. It's going to get a little bit louder here. So just bear with me. But you can see they're changing tires.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Two teams. And they got their timer on there. And they got to change tires. There you go. So the cars come in. And now they're changing it. There you go. Tires out. Next one in. Quick. All done.
They failed.
Oh, they failed. That team failed, unfortunately.
I might like you can do this off the show, and then send back to me the video.
Yeah. So that was that. So this is the racing sim, as I said. So there's actually not that many people now queuing up. The queue was a lot longer earlier, but now it's actually a little bit shorter.
This is great. Oh my God! AWS.
So yeah, so they've not spared any expenses on this. I have to say, they've actually, done a full simulation. You can see the screen. There's people competing in the race as well.
Oh, wow.
So that's all part of it. And then on the other side is American football stuff. So they're talking about NFL, touchdowns, and so on. And since I'm a Brit, I'm not going to be bothering with that. Sorry, my American subscribers. Might have lost a couple there. So this is actually saying this is the showcase vendors. So all the exhibitors here. And the main global sponsors, which are Datadog, Palo Alto, and GitLab. That's the list there. So this actually I wanted to show you, which is the map layout. So as you can see, level 0 is the workshop area, as well as this sports area as well. And the workshops are essentially people sitting down with their laptops and workshopping on something. So that's kind of really the idea. And that's on the other side. So we'll maybe try and do a little visit of that later. The main auditoriums were here. So the actual stage was in the center. And then you had 4 areas to sit around the central stage. And that's how they did it this year. And there were still empty seats, by the way. Where I sat, so there's plenty of seats available for people, which does, I think, like I said, the strike, the tube strike, really explaining why it was a little bit empty. I think on that, but it was full. It wasn't like majorly empty. There was kind of rows and rows of empty seats or something. It was actually quite full, but there was a number of seats that were empty and available. So there's still plenty of space for people to come in. So we're in the sports zone, as we said. This is the zone north, which is the exhibition area. That's where all the showcase was. That's where we were. You can see the AWS Village right smack in the middle of that, and the Ask an Expert right next to that. And then the food area, which is where all the lunches were being sold. So actually the food was not free. everybody had to pay for their lunch today. So that was a bit disappointing as well. Then level 1 on the other side, so that's the southern side, AWS South Zone, is really, as you can see, all related to AWS solutions. So industry, you've got community zones, you've got startup zone, customer product reviews, and so on. And then the other major area is just the registration hall. And then the auditoriums, H, G, F, and E are actually partner auditoriums. So these are smaller auditoriums, and they're kind of silent disco, as it's called, I believe, where you can put your headphones on and listen to the presenters. But the actual exhibition area, I think it's actually quite big. I don't think it's diminished at all. There seems to be quite a formidable number of vendors that are and partners that are attending. So yeah, all in all, quite interesting sort of activity going on. And we're going to move from the sports zone. Let's go over, see if I can get you over to that workshop area, as we can actually show you what's happening there. So we're back to that weird AMD sponsored gizmo thing. More people taking their photos. I think it's like a 3D photo sort of generator or something, AI 3D photo generator. Hopefully the signal is going to stay with me, it's going to behave. We'll see if we can try and get over the other side. If I lose you, well, you're just going to have to keep the audience entertained, I guess. Okay. I'm going to go slowly to give the give the access point time to swap me over, but I can't guarantee that it will stay the same. So we'll see what happens. Oh, actually, am I seeing? No, actually, yeah, it's still open. So I'm going to head over in that direction. Now, there is other sections as well, like the level 3, but these are kind of more exec events and things like large customers. And things like that for them as well. The weather actually, so we don't have.
Oh, Richard, I have some little bit. So Richard is.
Can you still hear me saying?
Ah, yes, absolutely. There's a little bit lag there, but now things are
okay. Yeah, well, I think that was the access point. I think that was the access point handing me over to the other access point. So, okay. So I'm now going into the workshop area, and we're going to see what's happening here. This, I have to say, is a very quiet zone. I'm almost having to whisper in here because there's not a lot going on. So yeah, but it's another huge area as well.
Richard, why not? This is a good time to remind people like how big of Excel Center is, because the last time when you're walking through the KubeCon, it took you 20 to 25 minutes just to go there. You started your journey from the entrance door from the conference. You get back to exactly the conference happening. It took you 20 minutes. So we can imagine how big of this is.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think the. So I didn't catch most of what you were saying there, Sam. If you can repeat that. Sorry, I didn't catch that.
I'm saying like Excel is a big place. Like remember back in KubeCon time, held in the same place. And we always talking about how big the Excel Center is. It's gigantic.
Yes, it is. It is. And now I'm not going to go further into this hall because I'm struggling with the signal here. But this is, like I said, where the workshops were being held. So people are actually sitting down. You can see one of the workshop areas here. And the amount of setup that this takes just for one day is just, I don't know, it's mind-boggling. But you can see this area where people were sitting and doing a workshop. So they all had laptops all connected and all doing something. And then on the other side, there's things like the training and certification teams. There was a student builder section. somebody, actually, one of the students approached me and asked me to vote for their AI project that they put together. So AWS has a website. I'll try and share the website, and we'll try and include that in the description of the video later. Yeah, but he asked me to vote for his project, so we sat when I was having my lunch and talked about that a little bit. But yeah, let me walk back. Let me walk back now, and let me see. Yeah, we'll walk back this way. So I'm just going slowly so that I don't lose the access point. Since you're being very gentle with the access point.
Oh, absolutely.
So you get to see people still sitting down and doing some work.
Have you spotted anyone, like, you're there for a very long time? Have you spotted anyone like like people doing the certification at the conference?
I think no, there wasn't anybody. I don't think there was anybody actually doing certifications. I think they were talking about certifications and certification maps, and how to do certification and stuff like that. There wasn't really. Maybe there was in the workshops, but I think there was some more kind of practical stuff for people to do. So like I said, this is level 0, so I'm going to walk up to the AWS area. So let's see if we can actually get to that. And then you can see the AWS area. I think they've done a really good job of that. It looks really quite cool. I was there this morning. That's adjacent to the registration desk. So we'll try and go up the escalator here.
As you walk in past, I can understand.
I think this is the Werner Vogel's presentation now going on, and it might be closed by now, which is why everything's kind of vacated a little bit, which is good. So yeah, Werner Vogel's keynote is going on. So I'm going up the escalator now. There's a sign for all the levels. And then this is the corridor in the middle, the infamous Excel corridor. So a lot more people hanging out over here. We're going to try and go to the South Hall. So we were in the North Hall, but now we're going to try and go in the South Hall if we can. Let me see if it's still open.
Is it open, I guess?
I don't know if it is. No, I think it's closing.
Okay, it's closing.
Yeah, let me just get to the other side. Yes. Let me get to the other side, see if we can.
Did you have any estimates
actually
or
get
numbers?
to
Did you find out how many
Zone
people
South? Hopefully you can still hear me.
Yes, Richard, absolutely, I can hear you. I'm saying, did you find?
There's the man himself, Werner Vogels.
Richard, I'm saying, did you find out the exact number of people out there and present at the AWS Summit? Oh, I think I lost Richard once again. Richard is back again, I guess.
Oh, I've lost you now.
Oh, back again.
Same. Okay.
Richard, I'm saying,
I don't know if he's coming back or not. Let's see, guys. Hopefully you can still hear me. So I'm heading to the Zone South, which is mainly AWS folks here and AWS solutions.
Richard, can you hear me?
We'll try and get to that. If anybody's in the chat, can you let me know if you guys can still hear me? Because I think I've lost Saim. But just let me know. Drop me a yes or no if you can hear me, guys. If anybody's still on. Saim is back. Okay. Can you hear me, Saim?
Yes, Richard, I can hear you perfectly.
Good. Excellent. Okay, I lost you there for a minute, so I didn't know what was going on.
No, I'm absolutely able to hear you as you were talking there. I'm a little bit surprised, like what happened to my mic? Like,
Okay.
you are not listening to me. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
oh, yeah.
So okay, so over here is the south. This is zone south, and
Okay.
you've got everything from a sticker bar. I don't know what these guys are queuing up for. Probably a signing of some kind or another. Some signing going on. And what else we got? We've got a big truck, AWS truck on
Mhm.
show. I don't know why, but you got a big truck on show here. That's massive. And then industry zone is ahead,
Okay.
so we'll head this way for one Amazon lane in the industry zone. Nice, interesting phone box. Looks a bit familiar. And then we're going to do a little bit more of a walk around. Yeah, so this is where actually you've got specific booths that are for particular technology. There's a Fallout stuff. I think I mentioned this in my
Hmm.
post. I said there might be some Fallout stuff from the series called Fallout. So I don't know if they've actually got any Fallout material here from the show that they're demonstrating or not, but I can see the Fallout poster here for Fallout fans. I have to say I'm not really a fan of Fallout myself, but I'm hip and trendy. I like to keep up with the times, so I do know what's going on, kinda. Um,
Started some reports,
well, maybe
Richard.
maybe they had an idea of clothing these mannequins with Fallout stuff, but it's not here anymore. So I don't know what happened. But here's something even more interesting to show you. So if
Okay.
I go around the front, this is the retail. I think this is the retail section. If I can get through, let me see if I can come through here. Excuse me, gentlemen. Thank you. All right. So this from these guys called Hyper VSN. So they were
Okay.
at the consumer, not the Consumer Electronics show, the one previous to that. Can't remember which one it was now, but the show earlier this year. This is actually a hologram. Now, my screen is not picking it up very well, so you're kind of seeing is getting caught in the vertical sync on my camera. But the point is that this is actually a hologram, and this company, HyperVSN, does holograms. Now, ironically, the kind of project and the kind of technology that Noah is working on is also holographic, but he's doing something very special with it. And the special thing that he's doing with it is that he's including generative AI with holograms. So that beats all this HyperVSN stuff and everything else, because they're actually using generative AI to do retail and exhibition and other types of use cases for it. So really cutting edge stuff. That's really why I enjoy sort of spending time with Noah, because we can always talk about lots of different things that are related to this type of technology, and he kind of keeps me up to date with what he's doing as well. So really cool stuff happening. So yeah, so this is kind of their solutions area. And you've got financial services, you've got energy and utilities, all sorts of both partners like Atos and others, Snowflake in this area, also demonstrating their solutions, obviously all based on AWS. And as you can see, some of the energy stuff. The blip is coming over the head. The blip is moving around. So it's doing its thing, advertising the show. So hello, blip. That's going around. There's a lovely tunnel. I did some photos of that earlier. It's kind of hyperspace tunnel.
Oh, there's
Ladies
a
and
zoom.
gentlemen,
This
we
is
are
very.
going to hyperspace.
Oh my
Woohoo!
God. Yeah, you're feel like you're going from one galaxy to another galaxy.
If
Is it a
somebody can take that clip and play it back fast, it'll be like hyperspace.
Oh,
Yeah. This was the registration area. Obviously, it's all now closed, so nobody can register anymore. These were the registration desks. Big summit sign over here. That's a big summit sign. So this is where I came in from. And then you have over here a DJ DJing away, I think. Yes. Somebody's bopping to some music. I'm going to go under the T for Summit to the other side, where people are preparing some lovely drinks for tonight, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic. You got wine, you got juice, you got beer, all sorts of stuff, all ready to go. That's for the event this evening, which will be starting in about 10 minutes. Fantastic. Yeah, so then software and technology, this kind of also part of the area here, and there's lots of other exhibition rooms and smaller kind of stands and things like that. There's a startup zone on the other side, same. So I won't be probably spending any sort of interview time here, but I just thought it would be nice to show you kind of what's happening in this space, because it's always good to get a good feel for everything that's going on in AWS Summit London. So yeah, no expenses spared. I think it's been kind of quite a big show. Like I said, I think they've really done well with the way they've organized it, the way they've kind of put everything into place. I think that's been really good. Some events, or some talks rather, are still going on, so you can see people here listening into something. Wow, and we even have a pub here, the Rose and Crown. So that's fantastic. This is a panel discussion, it would seem. So hopefully, there we go. A panel discussion going on, people listening into that. And we have the Rose and Crown, which is a pub. Fantastic. So they even have their own pub here, which is great. Okay, and yeah, and we're back to the we're back to the truck. So I think that rounds off our tour of the Zone South area. Same.
Literally, this is beautiful, and I think they have covered all sorts of the ground. I don't know what the truck is doing here. Do you have any?
That's a good question. I have no idea.
Did they add a data center in it, or no? Might be they're running.
Maybe they just run out of space in the. They just run out of space maybe in the car park.
There's something else. They might be running a Kubernetes cluster on top of it.
Well, they need to scale their cluster better in the car park, I guess, because it's clearly running out of. Well, their message queue is overloaded. That's all I can say. Anyway, so I'm about to brave it to go to the other side, which is the North Zone, as you can probably see over there. So be prepared to lose me again as the access point drops me and reacquires me. So we'll see what happens. I'm either going to go very slowly. Maybe I should. Let's do an experiment. Yeah, we've got a few people online. What do you think, guys? Maybe I should go slowly, and then it will have enough time to get me handed over to the other access point, and I won't lose signal. Or maybe I should run fast enough. Run really fast.
No, yes,
and then, what do you think? What's kind of the best thing?
I think
chat. Anybody in the chat want to give us any ideas? What should I do?
I think you can run. You can go slow.
Slow. Okay. All right. We'll do slow. Okay. So I'm just gonna walk very softly across here. People are moving
The live
very
debugging.
slowly.
The live debugging.
Live testing, live pen testing, as
We
we
will see.
go on the
We
live
will.
stream.
We will see the AWS DevOps agent working.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see if the access point is going to hand me over gracefully. We'll see what happens. Okay, so I'm going very slowly. I've got cross traffic coming from the other side, people intercepting and coming past me really fast. You can see that's very fast. Woo! Okay. Well, so far you haven't lost me, same, so that's good news. Now, I don't know when I enter the hall, which I'm about to do here, whether that's going to remain the same or not, but we will see. All right, so far so good. We were talking about SaaS vendors like Monday. So as you can see,
Yes.
Monday is here. I did spot some others around, not AMD. I got PwC here, Sentinel-1. I can see Datadog, distance. But we're back in the northern zone. This is where all the vendors are. So we'll do a little tour again and then try and maybe have a conversation with somebody. Where was that guy that approached me? I don't know where he is now. Let's go and find him. We'll try and get to him. Circle CI, Slalom, HackerOne, Firefly is here. There's Harness, but Harness looks very busy, same, as you can see. And I think they're serving food and drinks.
Busy. They are extremely
busy. Yeah, so very busy because they're offering food and drinks, and people want some free food and free drinks.
You can take them for you as well while we are online.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, let me see if anybody on the Dynatrace stand will be happy to me for a minute. Same, just going to have a quick word. I can see FinOps on the other side. So Finout and FinOps by Kion, Deepgram on the smaller stands. Coda is here. My guys at Coda. Might try and get an update from them if they're around. Yeah, let's see what happens. I haven't got a lot of time, so let me see if we can have a conversation with somebody here. Hold on a minute, please.
Okay, Richard, no worries. You can do some of the stuff there. I will be get back to you as soon as we have some guests available to chat through as well. But all I can see is when you're walking.
Okay, Dynatrace says no. So
okay.
we can't. They're not up for doing any interviews.
Okay.
Clearly, they need to work on their marketing a little bit more because they should be really ready to talk to anybody at any time. Yeah. Anyway, okay. So not around. Dynatrace not happening. Okay. So we were going past CrowdStrike last time, and then somebody stopped me and said, "Come and talk to me" or something. So let me see if that gentleman is around. We can say hello to him. Local stack. Was it local stack?
It's local
I
stack.
remember. Actually,
yes.
Was it local stack who were trying to talk to us?
Yes,
Okay. Local safe sandboxes for devs and AI. Okay, interesting. All right. I'm not sure the guy is here though, so it's only one person on the stand at the moment, or two people on the stand. They're busy talking, so okay. Might have to get a rain check on that. Come back. All right, so let's walk down this way. Oh yes, we can go to ChainGuard. Let's see if we can grab ChainGuard very quickly. I kind of map them into my head in terms of where they are, so I'm going to try and aim for that direction and see if I can successfully find them. Kind of did a little memory thing and see if I can find them again. So Mimecast is here. Denodo is here. We talked about Versal SolarWinds, CoreLogix. Now, there's ChainGuard. Okay. Let's see if we can say hello to somebody from ChainGuard. Are you guys up for an interview?
I think we should volunteer at it.
Okay, all right. Maybe we can talk to him then. Can you have a word with him for me? Can you sort it out? Maybe we can have a chat. All right, Sam, we're going to hopefully try and get an interview with ChainGuard.
Okay, Richard, I'm here.
Look at this other man here. I know this guy. I'll come back to you. Behind.
Okay, Richard, I'm back to you. You can...
Okay, Ihan might be up to it. Yeah, Ihan might be up to it. Let's see. Yeah, Ihan might be up to it. Let's see. We're trying to get an interview with ChainGuard, but we've got about 6 people there, and none of them want to talk to us. So we'll see what happens. All right. Let me see. Okay. I think Ihan's up for it. Is Ihan up for it? Ihan is up for it. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you again.
How are you? Good to see you always.
So, Ihan, quick intro to yourself, please. A little bit about ChainGuard as well. And yeah, just tell us what you guys have been up to.
So we started from building secure containers to help people get rid of their vulnerabilities, improve their risk posture, and take away the developer toil. But we've pivoted just away from containers and into full software supply chain security, where we're giving teams secure versions of open source that they're using today. I always make the analogy of if you're walking in the middle of central London and you see a table that's unattended with a bunch of cups of water, would you drink it? Probably not. That's how we treat our open source today. What we're saying is get behind the brand that builds secure versions, signs them, it's verifiable, it's reproducible, and also puts its stamp of authority and authenticity on it. Get a trusted open source so that as you build in the AI age, an age where we're getting overwhelmed with vulnerabilities, you're building in a method that helps your teams to move faster instead of just spending their time on toil, fixing vulnerabilities and triaging issues.
Fantastic. So obviously with things like sort of AI coming in a lot more these days, we've got now agents running around and stuff like that. How are you guys kind of, supporting customers with that? What's kind of some of the things that customers have been telling you about and asking you in terms of their challenges?
Yeah. So a lot of the challenges also come from the threats that come from AI-based development. And a lot of what we're doing today is trying to be partnered with the AI tools that developers are using. So for example, yesterday we just announced our integration into Cursor. So developers who use Cursor can just use secure containers from Cursor. It can help them refactor their Docker files, build it from scratch on secure open source built by ChainGuard. And that's what we're trying to do. We're moving towards also adding ourselves to that AI enablement layer so that it's not just about the building, but it's also about starting from a secure base, using the AI tools that your developers are using to build today, also helping developers with things like middleware, things like MCPs that they're using in their environments, but secure versions, everything always from the secure version, starting left rather than shifting left.
Right, so that's kind of where customers are developing applications for AI. What about the AI stack itself? So the actual model itself, there's a lot of open source that's coming in with that. Sometimes, the open source license is not necessarily kind of the open source license, so to speak. So what's kind of ChainGuard, doing in regards to supporting that and helping customers to make sure that the actual AI stack itself is also secure?
Yes, so around the models, that's not necessarily where we're working on at the moment. I'm sure somewhere on the roadmap. We're focusing on we build things like the AI images. So for example, things like Olama or Hugging Face, we build secure versions of that. They're really hefty images. We make them lighter, but they're still heavy images in comparison to everything else. So we're building those versions of those AI applications that customers are using, not necessarily the models themselves, because that's a slightly different business model, but we are working with the containers that customers use in AI application. We're also building secure libraries so that when they're building AI-based applications, they can use secure libraries from Python, from JavaScript, and things like TensorFlow, etc. They get those secure libraries from us that they use to build their overall AI applications, not just the models, not just the images, but the entire ecosystem itself.
Fantastic. So kind of customers really want to get that sort of trusted image. Come to ChainGuard. You take care of them during their development. So all of the libraries, modules, everything, images that they download and so on, they can get them from a secure source, as well as the actual stack itself. I think that's kind of the recipe for success. Thank you very much, Ian. I really appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for coming around. Amazing.
And I'll catch you soon. We'll have another chat soon. Take care.
Amazing. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thank you. All right, guys. So that was Ihan from ChainGuard. Ihan's always got a lot of time, I think, for kind of conversations and things. So he's actually ex.
We met ChainGuard.
Yes, he's actually ex. Yeah, he's ex Aqua. So he's actually he used to be at Aqua, and he's now moved to ChainGuard. So he's doing really well. But he's in that sort of image space, security space, and I think that's really a good place to be right now, because sorry, say that again.
I'm saying I'm making a little bit joke here. I'm saying, is it a summer signing?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. But yeah, no, he's really cool. I think he's got a lot of he's got a lot of talent, and he's very skilled in that sort of security space, both for sort of securing images, securing containers, securing code, and really the whole stack, both the model itself as well as any applications that might be being developed over it as well, on top of it, run on top of it as well. Yeah, so really good to be able to catch up with Ihan. I've had him on my channel a couple of times. He's done kind of some interviews around when he was at Aqua as well. So yeah, very good to catch up with him.
Oh, absolutely. But I think ChainGuard has some very nice solutions in their backyard for a lot of the open source software and a lot of the vendor. So see what's the new things have been coming up from their perspective as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I've just noticed Prosper OS is here, Prosper Ops rather, I should say here, which is actually part of Flexera. So I'm just kind of curious to maybe see if we can get an interview with them. Just bear with me for a second. Let's see if somebody's available for a conversation. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, just bear with me. Let me see if I can do it. Hold on.
You can talk to them.
Yeah, let me see if we can have a conversation. Hold on.
Just for the new starters, we just typically had a discussion with the ChainGuard team, and I've been really admirer of some of their products in their solution, because it has a lot of wonderful offering for the supply chain security, and I can include the link in the here so people can access.
All right. So Prosper Ops said no, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to move on and then see if we can catch somebody else. I have to say that by the time here is running out, so I will stay at the end. I think last year I stayed until the end, until the security guards kicked me out. So I will. I will do the same here as well. This year as well. Let's move over this way. Oh yeah, let's see if I can catch NetApp. Have a quick chat with NetApp.
Oh yes.
See who's actually the NetApp stand. Have a conversation with them. They've got fingers in lots of pies, I have to say. NetApp. They're always doing something. Always something interesting. Always something new. Grafana Labs is here.
Oh, Grafana
So-
is also there.
Maybe we can have a chat with Grafana. There's music playing. The blip is back. What's the blip doing here? The blip is running along. I don't know what's going on. There's a band over there. I don't know what they're doing. This is the food hall, the food market, by the way, saying. So it's all done like this. And then you can just go and have the kind of food that you fancy. So it's everything from burgers to pizzas to Indian food, duck burger, and all sorts of other stuff. Oh yes, the live band is playing. Let me see
Oh,
if we
yes.
can listen into the live band. Hold on.
Okay, that's gonna be great. Can you go a little closer?
Yes, I'm going to try and get there now. Hold on. Nevelarity said that we don't provide everything on this live stream, saying.
Absolutely, Richard. This is live branding. Only on Cloud FM and Cloud Therapist.
I think the song is "It's Raining Men," or "It's Raining Kubernetes." Maybe
Oh
should
my
be a
God.
better one. But anyway, NetApp. So my friend, unfortunately, is not here. I can't spot Alex on the stand, so I'm going to be able to, I think, have the NetApp interview, at least not for now. I might swing by it later on, maybe try and catch him again, but he's not here. So unfortunately, that's not going to happen. Let's move away a little bit from the band. These guys looks like they've abandoned all of their stands, so nobody's here. Kong, Fortinet, nobody cares. They've all walked away. Grafana Labs look very busy in their laptops. They're doing some serious coding, as you can see. All stack observability with actually useful AI. I like that. Okay. Let me ask these guys if they're available. Saying, can you hear me still?
Richard, absolutely.
Okay. Somebody in the comments said run fast instead. Yeah,
Yes.
I'll maybe try. I'll try that next time. I think. see what happens to the access point. Yeah. All right. Hold on. Let me see if I can talk to the guys here. Just bear with me.
While Richard we're talking today, we can vote a little bit more. I think we'll try to see if
Yeah, well, so let me see. Let me see if we can get them on. Hold on.
Okay, Richard, no worries. While you are there, I'm actually covering some other news from the event. major infrastructure investment is happening in the. I heard the AWS announced an 8 billion investment in the UK data
Rafana
centers.
said no. Rafana said no. So unfortunately, can't be. I'm going to be able to live stream them. Click is doing something here. Let's see what's happening.
Okay.
I think they're giving away prizes. Probably a giveaway. I don't know what they're giving away, but they're giving away maybe something. So there's lots of interest here. Lots of people around them. Okay, it looks like it's over, so we're going to move on. My time is short, so we're going to see what else we can. What else we can find out? Let me see actually who's here. Hold on a minute. So you got observability, run your local, on your
Richard,
cloud, managed by us. Interesting.
While you're finding the new partner, new companies from there, this is some new that I did. I need to share with the audience as well.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
So they said AWS announced 8 billion investment in UK data center, estimated to support 14,000 jobs annually and contribute to 14 billion to the UK economy by 2028.
Okay. Right.
You
Well,
have
let's see if
more
they
jobs.
actually. Yeah. Let's see if they actually do it this time.
Oh my
Because
God.
Google's done the same. Microsoft has done the same. They've all said that. They intend to invest. And it's like, yes, but actually do the investing. Don't just say you're doing it. Actually do it. Don't say you're going to do it. Actually do it. That's what I want to see. Kind of left their stand. Look, Progress, AlgoSec. Nobody's here. They've all gone. Look at applications, 1student days. Solaris. Oh, it's an interesting one. Are you up for an interview? We're live on YouTube. Are you up for an interview? You can't do anything. Okay, can't do an interview. Never mind. Okay. Nobody wants to be interviewed.
Oh my God.
Am I too intimidating? Do I sound like a little bit, I don't know, scary? Maybe I should soften my voice or something. Okay. Next, I think the next AWS Summit, I want to spend a little bit more time in the village and actually get some demos and like that from the AWS folks. But it's always interesting, like looking around the sponsor area and the exhibition area. Okay. Let's see what else is happening here. Okay. IBM Kubectest and Aptio. I wonder if Aptio will be up for an interview. Shall we ask Aptio? Same.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Hold on. Bear with me. And speak to Aptio.
Richard is talking to Aptio.
Yeah, no, they're not here. They're not there. They're actually people just serving. No, they're people serving drinks at the Aptio stand, but Aptio people are not there. I don't know what's happened to them. They disappeared. Everybody's gone home. What's going on? Redis is here. Accurate AI starts here. So real-time context engine, real-time data platform. Yeah, my concern with all of these is, are these solutions going to be around when, in 18 months' time, 2 years' time? I'm not really sure. A lot of this stuff is going to be around in 18 months or 2 years' time, because this space is moving fast, fast forward, quick, right? It's moving forward so quickly. It's really hard, I think, to judge what's going to be a solution that will continue in the next sort of couple of years, really. So that's my sort of main concern with this. So yeah, I'm not seeing anybody else's antithesis.
Richard, have you seen any of the? Have you seen my girlfriend there? Like You know, my girlfriend is, you absolutely know this.
Who's
You
that?
know any tool from my girlfriend?
Who's that?
Kubernetes.
Who?
Kubernetes. I'm saying Kubernetes. Have you seen
Oh,
my
no,
only
no.
my only
Look,
and lovely.
even the sports area is packing up. Look,
Oh my God.
they've just given up on it. Oh dear. They've given up on it as well. So everybody's giving up here. Everybody's going home.
Oh my word.
Let me see.
Is it we passed the hour? Like that's why people are
Well,
packing.
this is now the happy hour. This is now the networking hour. So we're kind of in the last 30 minutes
Okay.
of the show. So I'm going to be probably now. When you see that sign over there, when you see that, am I pointing in the right direction here?
Oh yes.
When you see that sign, it looks like Xbox, but actually you get close to it, it's Expo.
Expo. Yes,
So,
absolutely.
Yeah, I saw that earlier and I went, "What's Xbox doing here?" it was really. Do they run their stuff on AWS?
Oh, absolutely.
Should they be running it on Azure? So anyway, yeah. So Informatica from Salesforce. Let me go to the other side. Let's see if there's more people willing to talk on the other side.
Yes, absolutely. I think one.
Let's head over
Let me.
this side.
Actually, if you here's some other news. I need to cover here is that I think.
Yeah.
AWS revealed it is working with Anthropic Project Rainier. Project Rainier, a large-scale computer cluster powered by hundreds of thousands of Trainium 2 chips. Have you heard about anything Project Rainier?
I think I have, but I didn't know it was on AWS stuff. I didn't know it was being run on the AWS inference stuff. Oh my God. So same, this was the area where I was going to start the, this is the area where I was going to start the live stream from. Hold on.
Oh.
And as you can see, people are still using it to take photos. So I couldn't start the live stream from here. I had to go to the, I had to go to the village and start it from there instead. Right, so we've got Rubric. We've got, did we ask Dynatrace? Yes, we did ask Dynatrace. They were not up for an interview, unfortunately. ServiceNow, Launch Darkly. Got Coder on this side. Weights and biases. Or Weave. That's an interesting one. Finout. Finout, Agentic Era. Let me see if these guys are up for an interview. I'm quite curious about this. Hold on, please.
Okay, sure. I'm waiting. While Richard was finding someone for the interview, here's some other news for you. I think the Amazon Bedrock, the new guard was announced. Amazon Bedrock has some updates. And it's now announced that new guard plates to reduce AI along with model distillation techniques that make AI models up to 500%.
Wow, that music is getting really loud. Same. So, Finout are happy to do an interview with us. They're talking about FinOps for the agentic area. I hope you can hear me still okay.
Absolutely perfect.
Okay. All right. So let's go with Finout. So, hello, you're live on YouTube. If I can ask you to do a quick intro to yourself, and then on to Finout, and then we'll have a little chat about what's happening in the FinOps space. Okay.
Do it. Hi everyone, my name is Mallory Bedreau. I'm the head of EMEA sales at Finout, which is a FinOps platform, and we're delighted to be at the summit.
Fantastic. So what's kind of been some of the things that customers have been talking to you about today? What's kind of the challenges that you guys are addressing for them?
Well, we had a sticker game where we gave out a sticker every time we heard agentic, and we've given out about 20,000 stickers today. No, it's honestly, I mean, the keynote talking about agentic, it makes sense. That's where AI is now. We've got the adoption of AI. And what we make it easy to do is understand the actual consumption of AI agents by application, by person. So it makes sense we're talking about it, but that's been the big theme of the day.
Right. And the kind of the FinOps space is sort of expanding. So you got things like AI coming in. The FinOps Foundation has introduced sort of AI certification and things like that. Is that something that Finout is also looking into as well?
Of course. So we are one of the certified platforms. And what we do is think about Bedrock, for example. You've got agents running on Bedrock. You need to see the monitoring data to understand exactly what's happening with consumption. Otherwise, it just looks like one cost. Great, let's bring that data in and help the engineers understand what's actually happening with my Bedrock spend and consumption.
Fantastic. So how easy is it to kind of implement a FinOps platform? If customers kind of want to, really get hard and quickly into it to actually start, reaping the rewards and getting the ROI and things like that, how easy is it to kind of implement?
Make it easy for you. So we do need access to your cost and usage report. And then for something like Bedrock, we do need that utilization metric. And from there, it sort of just works. You can start to see the actual spend. You can start to add in your own business data with what we call virtual tags, which is going to do a rules engine telling you where the spend goes. Now you can start sharing it out with engineers and saying, hey, look, this team's spending this much, that team's spending that much. What do we want to do about it?
Fantastic. And in terms of sort of the coverage that you guys have, do you cover not just AWS, do you cover all the other public clouds? Do you cover on-prem stuff as well? What's kind of the story there?
We were created by data scientists, and we believe all data is good data. So we're multi-cloud, multi-SaaS, multi-AI. And honestly, if we don't have a native integration, you can bring it in as a custom cost center with a simple CSV.
Fantastic. So I didn't catch your name. What was your name?
One more time for the audience. That's Mallory.
Mallory. Excellent. Okay, Mallory, appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. Have a great time. Thanks.
All right. So that was Finout. Lots of conversations around cost management and what do they manage, how do they implement, things like that. So that was really good.
Yes, absolutely. I think this is quite interesting. I will take a deeper look at it. Wow.
Well, I mean, don't forget, this whole space is changing, right? So we've been talking about this for quite some time and warning people.
Yes.
And trying to kind of put out the messaging around it, in terms of, in terms of how AI is coming into that space, and in terms of how really, it needs to integrate with things like observability and stuff like that. So not just kind of take on AI for the sake of AI, but actually take on AI because it's a useful activity, and it's useful for customers really to have that. So it's not just about putting AI, I think, in there. I think it's how do you integrate it with things like observability as well. So that's, I think, really, really important.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, I'm going to walk over to this side. Let's see what else is happening. We've got Kyndryl over here. We've got Accenture. And they got Launch Darkly. Okay. So we've got Kyndryl over here. Who's these guys? ServiceNow. Okay, so ServiceNow, we're talking about. Okay, no, they were just talking about CRM. Okay. Okay, have we covered everything? I think we've pretty much covered everything. Same.
Oh yes, Richard, have you spotted any newcomer like that you find interesting, like any other startup and some of the, as you find anyone?
The startup zone, I think, was in the South Hall, but there wasn't really a huge size this time. I mean, in the past they kind of dedicated a whole area to it, but this year it wasn't really. It didn't look like a massive space. It looked, a little bit smaller in terms of the number of startups. They normally kind of, put it out as a massive sort of part of their village, but it was. I think it looked a little bit more reduced this year for some reason. So there you go. But I mean, look, the AWS is quite busy. It's got its hands full, right, with AI and agents and things like that. So I think that's kind of where they are, despite obviously continuing to support, startups and that sort of whole partner ecosystem, and so on is still on their mind as well, of course. Now, Vercel is quite interesting. Agentic infrastructure for every app and agent is the message there. I don't know if they're up for any interview. Shall we ask them for an interview?
Can you check?
We can check. I can always check. Hold on a minute. Let me see if I can ask. Vercel's not doing any interviews. Nobody's doing interviews. This is really disappointing. This is really disappointing. I may have to drop the live stream next year, saying.
Yes, that's a problem.
Because I've had more no's than yeses. So we've done 2 or 3 interviews today, but a lot of people are either not there or they're saying no. Oh, look, a Kubernetes logo. Oh, my word.
Oh, my word.
So building and scaling infrastructure. Looks like everybody's backing up, though, as you can see.
Oh, yes.
I think the AWS guys really want to go home. They've had enough.
They had enough. They had enough.
You know how it works. You see the Aptio guys. There's nobody there now. There's only one lady, and she's serving drinks. Do you know how it works? I think a lot of these guys do the world tour, so they actually get sent around wherever the summit is happening as well. Not all of them, but there's a number of them. Oh, hang on, what's going on here? I can see a whole bunch of crowds of people, maybe giving something away. Something being given away by Nutanix. All right. So what Nutanix is? Oh, they're playing something. They're playing a game. Increase cloud efficiency. Smarter something. Okay, I can't read that. There's something going on there by Nutanix.
Nutanix.
Okay, everybody who's with us, are you enjoying this tour? Are you actually enjoying some of these conversations?
Yes, and this person is enjoying a lot.
Your field reports are being turned down for so many interviews.
Oh my God. Yes.
Being rejected. I'm being rejected.
This is a live coverage. People can see this and no one.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit fed up now. I'm getting a little bit fed up with this. So I'm just kind of saying to people, because they're all hesitating and like, oh my God, this is like the first time this has happened. It's like, come on, you should be used to this. So it's either a yes or a no. That's how I'm kind of looking at it now. Just kind of pin them down for a yes or a no. That's what I want to do now. So yeah, same. Everything I think is shutting down. People are closing down. Again. This is all closing down here. So I think, although we said we wanted to continue the live stream onto the after party, I think we're going to have to sign it off here because that doesn't start for a while. And because things are shutting down here, I think it was probably good that we end the live stream here. We've done some interviews, so that's good.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
yeah, I
You've
will
done
do
the hard
an
work.
offline. Thank you. I will do an offline interview with Mike Mead, who is the product and CTO of Scale Factory. So thanks again to Scale Factory for letting us drink their alcohol and have their food, as they say. And yeah, see, I'm back at NetApp. I can't see my friend Alex, unfortunately. He's not there. He's probably gone home already, so I've missed that chance with Alex, unfortunately. But yeah, let's maybe wrap up, because I think we need to. I need to get ready to head off to the Scale Factory after party. I think there's a couple of people there who will be joining me, so hopefully that should be good. Noah should be there. I don't think Cheryl is there, but some other people might be there, hopefully. So we'll see what's happening.
Yes, Richard, you can.
But yeah. Yes, I think that was good. We got some good interviews. Unfortunately, a lot of people are not willing to talk. So you're right, and I think we've been right. We've called it out in the past that you know, these other crowds are not like the cloud native clouds. The cloud native crowds are a lot more open and kind of willing to do interviews and get stuck into conversations and things like that. But yeah, it's been interesting. We've got some good themes, I think, out of the event. The music and the band are still going. They're very loud. I actually could not hear a single thing those people were replying when I was asking the questions, because the band was so loud. But yeah, no, it's been good to just to kind of catch up and have a conversation, see what's happening, get the land in the AWS world. And really, this is our only opportunity to do that. Otherwise, we're sitting there watching reInvent or talking to people who are at reInvent, or we're going to reInvent. But I think on things like that, you probably get lost. It's so big. There's so much going on. It's really difficult to kind of try and, you know, catch something decent and something, you know, out of that. So I prefer these kind of more focused events, local events, so I can get to it easily as well. If there's no tube strike, there's no train strikes, of course. But oh, look, Oracle's gone home. Good night, Oracle. See? Everybody's gone home. But the party's just starting, so I'm not going home.
Oh, you sleep and enjoy the stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think that was good place to end it. And I will do an offline interview with Mike Mead of the Scale Factory, try and catch up with him. For Cloud Therapist viewers and subscribers, Mike has been on the channel before. He's actually been on one of our Code to Culture episodes, so do check that out. I'll try and drop the description in the, I'll try and drop the link of the video in the description so you guys can check him out. Really good guy, excellent knowledge around platform engineering, very clever guy, and you know, does a lot of really good stuff. And then we can kind of really see what's going to happen in sort of the Scale Factory sort of world. They do lots of things around migration. They do lots of things around you know, DevOps. They do obviously platform engineering and really helping customers in all of those spaces. So it'll be a really interesting one to catch up with him. It's been a year since the last time we spoke about AI and things like that. So I'm really keen to get a feel for what's the latest with him, what's he seeing in this space. Obviously, when he comes, you know, onto Code Culture and other episodes that we've done on our live streams, is purely that time that I have with him. So we don't really have time to kind of sit down and have a conversation over a beer or whatever. So hopefully we're going to get a chance to do that tonight. Yeah, we're going to get a chance to do that tonight. Thank you, Access Points, for not screwing up the live stream. I can see one just above my head. Let's thank Access Points. You can hopefully see just above my head. That thing with a little blue light on it. That's the AP. Thank you, AP. We are not worthy to be in the same hall as you and for you to carry our signal. We appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So
we find a way to do it, Richard. Like when you run through slowly, it won't actually disconnect you. So you learn new stuff here.
I think we have. We may have learned the trick. Although somebody was suggesting, what's the guy's name? Saz. Saz was suggesting I should run, but Saz, I think we need to take it easy and go slow. I think that's how we can give the APs a chance to hand me over gently. All right, there you go. And we've done it on their Wi-Fi, which is good. That means my data's not been taken up either. So that's fantastic. Oh, here we go. Here's the. Let me just show you the robots. So let's see if we can get to the robots. Here we go. Robots is the last thing we're going to do.
Oh.
We just get to the robots. Let's show the robots off a little bit. Here we go. There we go. I hope you can see that. So these guys early on were shaking hands. If you were brave enough, you would shake hands with these robots. It looks like that one's gone to sleep. Only this one running now. There's something scrolling on his head. I don't know if you can read that. Okay, there we go. So that's the robots. So yeah, they were up and running earlier and shaking hands. I think maybe their batteries died. So who knows?
Absolutely. So Richard,
yeah,
I won't take much of your time because you need a water, you need some relaxation, and you need to sign it off because once again, my friend, my wonderful co-host partner who's been carrying his bag, carrying all the equipment with him, talking here and there, and with all of last two and a half, an hour and 15 minutes, and there are people dancing behind me.
Somebody's photobombing me, I think.
Yes, absolutely. So,
yeah.
So thank you very much.
I really appreciate it as well. Thank you, Saim, for doing the directorial role as always. Really appreciate that. And yeah, and anybody who's enjoyed it, stayed with us. Thank you for spending the time with us. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channels. It's really, really important that you do that. That's really what will help us to keep going and making these videos, because we need that in order to be supported by YouTube. Otherwise, it makes our lives very hard if people are just watching stuff and not subscribing. It costs you nothing, but every single subscription is really appreciated. Do you know that every time I get a subscription notification, I save that subscription? I actually have all my subscriptions saved because I really appreciate every single one of those subscriptions that people apply to my channel, and I'm sure you do the same as well. Same, you appreciate it as well. So yeah, it means a lot to us if you guys do the clicking of the subscribe button. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. That's where we pull up all the energy that we all need to actually run those.
Always.
Thank you very much, Richard. I won't take much of your time. As always, really lucky to have recorded another live stream with you. Looking forward to meeting you again.
See you in the next one.
Spam and Cloud for the YouTube show. Bye bye, everyone, for this.